I was just shopping my local Target, and as I walked down one of the aisles, I saw this dude carrying like the armfuls of paper products. What is it about paper products that makes people so giddy right before they steal them? This has to stop. So the guy just walked up the steps right in front of the asset protection person who's looking at a small screen. And I just shook my head. I turned around, looked at him going up. He's pretty confident he can pull it off. I pushed my little cart. I have things to pick up, and I figured I would swing back around to see what the outcome of that was. In this particular neighborhood in DC, we have the Metropolitan Police. They usually have an officer sitting in a cruiser who can't respond any place else because crime has gone up so much. And I'm hoping that in the first quarter of 2025, that's going to start to recede significantly, where law enforcement again can feel that they are fully supported by their superiors, politicians, and their departments. And I guess that's a rant for another day. How cops sometimes they seem like aloof, they don't want to get involved. There may be good reasons for that, not really great reasons, but they don't feel supported. They either get in trouble for enforcing the law and so forth. This is a topsy-turvy world right now. Like I said, hopefully that's going to change. And small to mid-sized businesses are not going to have to deal with this. But this is a Target. Target has lost a lot of money. Everything that's in Target has to be locked up behind a plexiglass door because they have the theft rings in this particular neighborhood and throughout DC. So from stealing the carts, there were months where you couldn't even find a cart. So if you wanted to shop and you found one basket at the store, you were lucky because they took the baskets too. They took the carts. So after a few months, finally they implemented some more severe asset protection measures in addition to hiring private security officers and so forth. I'm going to address that here pretty soon. I'm not happy about how people conduct themselves when they're on duty, but the MPD officer sitting like just right across the street from this particular establishment, and it was too easy for them to make the call. So I turned around and saw the one guy walk up the steps with merchandise. He had more on him than just paper goods. And the other asset protection guy running up the steps while the other one was monitoring the screen. So it's happening right in front of people who are monitoring activity. There's so much anyone can mitigate at one time, especially if people move quickly. And if somebody calls you off to do something, or your eyes are constantly looking at a screen, they get tired. And sometimes you have to walk away, look away. That's when you miss small details and you can't see everything. So in essence, security really, it has to be a system of people and technology and policies because otherwise, if they didn't work as a team, they wouldn't be able to mitigate all these threats. But I think they got the dude because next thing when I came back across the store, an PD officer, sure thing, was looking at footage from that tablet that they carry around. So there's so much they can do. I saw a very hilarious video online. I don't know who took it. I saw it on X and it's on YouTube, but I wanted to ask permission. I didn't want to show it today. But this one guy in the pond circle, and there's so many of the homeless men hanging around the pond circle. That's their usual hangout. There are the little pockets of these people hanging out, asking for money and whatnot. It's not atypical of DC. But the Brooks Brothers right there at the circle, pretty vulnerable. It's pretty accessible like any other of the other stores that are there. And today's Sunday, and we're figuring that, especially on a Sunday when there's a lot of people and they shut down the roads, for the farmers market on Sunday, which is fantastic, time to go out and shop. But this guy already knew in the video, just playfully saying, "Who are you?" The guy who's taking the video says, "Who are you, MacGyver? Who are you supposed to be?" Just interrogating this guy who's just helping himself to stuff. I walked away, but one of the most telling things he said to the woman who obviously was an employee was that the cops, and there's no point calling the cops because he'll be gone long before the cops get there, which is true. And the people who commit these crimes, they observe They observe how law enforcement moves. They're watching for how often they go on patrol, where they're stopped, and all that. They observe their behaviors. They're just this is we in security observe people engage in certain behaviors. People engaging in those behaviors are doing the same thing to us. So it's an ongoing game. It's a fun game. As long as nobody gets hurt and you don't get robbed, it's a very fascinating dynamic. But I don't shop at that store. But many years ago at another store, I'm not going to name where, but I was a faithful customer and I told them, you guys get robbed so easily. Why is it that you guys don't have really good asset protection? There's just no explanation. They just write it off as a loss. Then my question is, why do we tolerate this in business? Why do we tolerate getting robbed? And for the people who had smaller businesses like you, if you have insurance, it's not going to cover everything. Insurance is not a bandit. It's not a magic pill. It's not the one thing that's going to solve all your problems. So the people who are not really in the game don't understand that even in allowing someone to engage in petty thefts here and there, it adds up over time. When we complain about high prices for everything as it is. I walked away from today's shopping spree, things that I needed that I finally broke down and got for myself. And everything's expensive. And I'm thinking that every time somebody walks in and grabs things and they run out of a store, same store we shop at, those prices are going to have to go up. And they have to pay people more to work in these places. You have to actually send a little alarm to at each aisle where your favorite items are locked up because the theft is too high. There's just too many for a company to mitigate and still continue to operate in any area. So that's why a lot of companies just pull up their stakes and then just move someplace else. And then the local people complain in turn that they don't have these services available to them. It's a vicious cycle. But I think it might be coming not to an end because crime will never go away. It's just going to adapt and just rotate to something else. It's going to make them money and profit. But just to have the certainty that while this year has started off to a really rocky start, that there's always the hope that if we become more alert to threats and dangers and the risks we're taking every day in our businesses and even in our homes and just day-to-day activities, that we can help ourselves better by being informed. So this is just my rant for today because I think they got the guy, but that may not be the same case in some other neighborhood. I got some pretty cool stuff coming up pretty soon regarding security and some advances in technology that can help you stay ahead of the game. Take care.